Hey, welcome everybody to podcast number 66. I'm your host, Kerry Kreitz. This is presented by 5-Pin Universe. We have a pretty special guest on here this week. He was a player of the year on the WCBT. But first of all, we want to thank All Star Bowling Sales for sponsoring the month of June once again. We will run their commercial and then we'll introduce our guests. Hey guys, so we have our regular cast, Dexter Wiseman, Tim Wiseman, and the infamous Hall of Famer Adam Weber, and our special guest of the day is once, like I mentioned, WCBT Player of the Year, 2016 Regina Classic Open champion, and he won a Masters singles title. Len Anseth.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
So Lenny, our first topic for you, if people haven't seen you on the lanes, is obviously your approach speed. Dexter is notoriously quick on the lanes, but I do believe you are the one to beat. If it's not you, it's Mike Herbert. Could you just give us a little insight how that started and why you compete that way?
I've always thrown fast. I've never really considered myself a fast bowler, but I've always thrown fast, and for no reason other than if I stand up there for a few seconds, I start getting nervous. I start shaking. So it was a way for me to calm my nerves. But when I really started playing fast, I guess would have been the year that I won the Master Singles. I was playing in the final, and I was playing against Mark Jackson, and it was not pretty. He was crushing me. It was not good, and it got to the point where I was just utterly humiliated, and I thought, oh my God, this is embarrassing. Let's get out of here as quick as possible. So I just started throwing as fast as I can because I wanted to be out of there. And then lo and behold, I got on a little roll, and then I did pick up on the fact that faster I was throwing, it seemed to be a little bit affecting his game. I don't know, And then after that, afterwards, I just started thinking, well, you know what? I like throwing fast. So then I try to do it more often, and I was really shocked at how other people seem to. They seem to get thrown by it, and they think that somehow you're doing it intentionally. And it's like, well, I can throw slow, but I throw better when it's fast. And I practice. If I practice really monotonously, really slow. You might mistake me for Adam. I'm actually thinking, but when I'm playing a game, I don't want to think about anything. I just, if you got it, trust it and let it go.
Yeah.
For me, if I'm not going fast, then I'm telling myself you're not trusting your shots, so you're not confident. So if I'm confident, if I'm ready to throw the ball now, let's throw it now. But I am an impatient guy. My family's that way. My brother bowls. He might be faster than me. We go on the golf course. We're playing the golf course. You pull that pin. There's 4 balls rolling towards a cup. We're impatient. Let's get it over with. Good or bad. Like if I'm playing a match against somebody, I obviously like to win, but I'm more interested in how's it going to turn out. So I want to get it over as quick as I can. Win or lose, let's go. Yeah.
Do you find it really easy to get on a roll that way?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like because that's all I really bowl on is on feel. So if it's once I found it and I got that feeling in my head, I'm thinking, you know what, you're feeling you got it right now, and it's probably only going to last a half hour. So if it's only going to last a half hour, let's get as many balls in as we can. Well, that's the feeling there.
Oh, TMI.
Do other paces of plays of the other players affect your style at all?
Yeah, if anything, I seem to have trouble with people that play a little faster. Like I also don't like being in the pit. I like, I throw my balls and I'm a pacer and I walk around. So what I usually do is I get into a routine in a tournament, and I'll be throwing the ball, and I'll know who I'm playing and how long they usually take. So I'll mark out a path and pace it, and I'll usually walk the same way. And I know when he's shooting. I'm listening. I don't ever want to watch them shoot, but I'm listening. And there'll be times where I'll be like, no, I really need a break here. And then as you're walking away, you might hear a plink, and in your head, you're thinking, perfect. And then you just keep walking or whatever. But when I'm doing that and I'm getting used to it, and then I play with somebody who's playing faster than I expect, I don't have time to get my thoughts and ready for my shot. Like I'm kind of going through a pre-shot routine as I'm pacing. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, you're up. And yeah, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I better go. And I'm not really ready to throw that ball, but I'll get up there because it's my turn type of thing. So yeah, if anything, somebody throwing too fast, like don't get me wrong, somebody throwing slow, it'll annoy me, but it won't throw me off.
I remember I was playing Mitch once on 9 and 10 at Golden Mile, Regina Classic. I think it was the second round. I think it was the 16s. And I think we were in the second game, and we were actually, par across the board. And I think we just started the second game, right? I think everybody else was, and you and Herbert were already finished.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a barn burner. You guys were like 750. It wasn't even like spectacular. Yeah. And me and Mitch looked at each other, and you guys, you know what? You guys are messed. Like you guys aren't even like. Okay. Just go take off your shoes, and you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like,
yeah, I know that match against Mike was a quick match. I know in the past I've had an extremely fast match with Jimmy Llewellyn. Yeah, Jimmy Llewellyn. I was playing him in a tournament once, and I'm sure it was at the KG, and I'm sure. I don't even think we had to quit. Like I think we might have played the three things, and I think there was a match that was still in the first game. I mean, like they were not done, and yeah, that was probably one of the fastest matches I had been in. But, yeah. So yeah,
I totally agree with absolutely everything you said. Like I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like, these are the exact thoughts that go through my head. I don't watch people bowl. I'll walk around. I'll find somebody else to talk to, or walk up top, or whatever. And I'll do my thinking before I get onto the lanes and go. I'm quick for the exact same reasons. It's just that I know what I'm doing. I have like one or two thoughts while I'm walking, but I don't need everything beforehand. It's just get up there, go, let it happen naturally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I to be totally honest with you, I often a little bit curious, wonder. Like I wonder to myself, Adam, I don't know what's going through your head, but I'm just sitting back going, yeah, like I don't want to. I always got that feeling. Like I get a feeling like if I take my time or if I concentrate, like I basically don't aim for the a pocket, left or right. I aim right. I'm going for the nose of the head pin, trusting that I'm going to have a good roll on the ball, let it go, and it's going to work. But if I take a second or I take a time and think, it just seems like 9 out of 10 times I'm going to punch. If I take too long, I'm going to punch. In fact, I like having a habit. I like going up on the lanes, standing there, and going on feel. So, somebody asks me, well, what do you do when you get a head pin? I swear. Like, what kind of adjustment do you make? I swear, because how can I make an adjustment? I don't know where I was standing. I don't look. If I look down, I'll actually walk up in the lane. If I look down to see where my feet are, I'll usually walk back off because I'm like, that's not the way to do it. Just get up there, I'll look at where I want to hit, and just feel in the lanes. And if it's like, well, that's where I want to aim, but I feel like I should move over left, I just trust me. You learn to trust yourself. I sit down and say, your body knows what it needs to do, and you just learn to trust it. Yeah. So it's worked for me. Like I don't know what I'd do if I was taking my time. That's why I'm saying I don't know what to think. So if I'm up there for more than a second and a half, all that's going through my head is, holy God, why are you still standing here? Throw the ball. Yeah. That's all that's going through my head.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Adam can attest. For me, it's not what's going through my head. I think it's just the feeling in my body. Like when I'm up there and I'm taking my time, it's not okay. I have to do this. I have to do that. It's like, it's just how your feet feel in your shoes sometimes, or how your body's feeling when you go. Like
how your elbows are.
Or
long-time listeners,
or how my elbows are feeling. Yes, thank you guys. But that's what it is, right? And I think it's just how you feel adjustment on, or how you're set. Has nothing to do with or how I'm breathing, maybe not through my elbows, but I think that's where it is more than what I'm thinking. Right? Does that make sense? Because if you're up there being like, okay, I gotta slow first step, I gotta follow through it. You're not doing that. You shouldn't be doing that up on the lanes, right? So
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm telling you, man. Like I get up onto the approach and I plant my feet. I just feel like this ball of energy, like right in my chest, and it's just moving up. And if I don't go, it's like, where's it gonna go? Like I can't sit there and wait because I'll explode. I can't do it. No.
Yeah, like yeah, it's just I think for me the quicker the pace is just a good way for me to control my nerves, not to let them start controlling me.
Do you find if you're not on a roll and you're struggling a little bit, does it take you more frames to get back on track, or how's that?
Yeah,
work?
you know, I don't know. I'm really bad that way because when I find it, I'm pretty happy, but I don't always know what the heck I did to find it. It's like, no, I got it now, and I know. But I do struggle. I struggle a lot more in a team event, just because it's hard to, it's hard to explain to your teammates that I just want to get up there and go. I sit back there and I know that if I just get up there and go, it's going to look to them like, well, he doesn't give a shit, he's not trying type of thing. But so I worry about, oh, well, maybe I should take an extra second or do whatever on my team event. And then that seems to play havoc on me. And then, of course, you want to support your teammates, but I've learned eventually now to do it. But for the longest time, I was telling the guys, well, you got two choices. I can sit in here and clap for you guys and throw a 250 for you, average 250 for the tournament, or you can let me throw my ball, walk away, pace around like I do in a normal tournament, and I might average 280 for you. But I said, but I'm not, I'll know exactly. I'll keep an eye on, unlike when a cash tournament, when I'm playing somebody in a match play, I don't want to watch balls. In open or anything like that, I'm always watching my teammates. I just don't want to be in the pit. I feel like a caged animal in the pit. I just hate it. I had a hard time on CBC and TSNs. Why? Because they want you to sit and it's like, yeah, I don't like sitting down. I don't like sitting in between shots. That's not me. I've always had bad hips, and I don't like sitting down in between shots. So I pace, and if I'm playing a tournament all day long, I try to stay on my feet all day long. I don't want to sit down.
So is that? Oh no, we've been privied in the past to see your TSN video. Is that part of the problem that you had with that?
No, I don't look for excuses. I was just shitty, and I went through the hole twice. I would like to say that's the worst moment of my bowling thing, but that probably doesn't make the top 10. I've done a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we all had a good laugh when Gary Schneider did that. Put that on there. That was good. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, instead of focusing on one of your lowlights, I do have a little video here of one of your highlights. I'll set the stage here for you, Len, and I'll have you walk through it. But you were playing Brad Mowens in the final of the Regina Classic in 2016. Yeah. I do believe going into last frame, all Brad needed was a mark to lock you out. And I'll try and share the video here so you can watch it as we go, and our audience can watch it too. Hopefully I can share some audio here for them.
And I know, I'll tell you on this video before when it was going, I was sitting talking to Glenn Tarasoff, and I just wasn't happy. We were both bad this game, and I just didn't feel it. And it was the exact same thing I was telling you with playing against Mark Jackson, where I was just getting embarrassed. I was getting embarrassed here, and I just looked over at Glenn, and I said, I hope he goes up there and throws a strike. And he goes, why? I said, I just want him to end it. I said, because if I get up there, I'm going to embarrass myself. I said, I just don't have it. I know it's not there for me today. And as soon as he did that, Glenn looked over. He goes, sorry, Len, you're going to have to throw. So that I knew when he said that I got a chance. And I didn't normally, like, I am a scoreboard watcher. I know where I'm sitting. I know where I want to know what I need. And when he did that, I just remember telling myself, okay, if you got a chance, I don't know what I need, but I know I'm going to need, I know 30 ain't going to do it. I know I'm going to need 30 and then a hit, and I didn't know what I needed. I really didn't. So that's all I was going after this, going up here. That's all I'm thinking to myself is let's just throw the first good shot. And in my head, I didn't really worry about the first shot. I thought the first shot that I would throw, I was really expecting to, do my usual thing and choke on the second shot.
So according to the scores, you needed 40 to tie.
Yes. Yeah. And I knew it was going to be something around there. So this first shot was a really good shot, and I felt good about it. This next shot, it wasn't a good shot. I threw it out in the lane a little farther, and I kind of threw a prayer out there, but it got answered. And I was like, oh, this is really fortunate. So then because felt like I got so lucky on that second shot, my last shot, I was doing exactly what Dex was saying, and I was just vibrating. I was so nervous. Yeah, and for me, that's throwing it out there. Like it obviously not that, but I was just like, yeah. And coming back, I'm telling myself, wow, you got away with one. And then now it's finally sinking in. I know I've got a shot to win this tournament, but I still haven't looked up. And I want to look up, but I'm telling myself, don't look up, you'll just choke. So I just throw this next one. Yeah. And then there. And when the crowd made the things, I'm sitting in my head going, well, I either just won or just lost, but I didn't really know which way it was. So
yeah. To end up throwing aces to win by one that's incredible. It's unreal.
Yeah, pretty lucky. That's all that was. If it was gonna be based on skill level, there, Brad shouldn't probably have to play game 3, but it was, I got lucky there, so
yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, you can kind of see from the start of the game too. You guys were just punching your lights out, getting lots of splits, a few marks here and there, but yeah, it really wasn't the greatest game. But when it comes down to it, you threw the triple going into the last shot, and you needed more than 10. And it was on the beak, but you could tell there was tons of rotation on it because it just busted the pins up.
Yeah. And it's funny thing is, I never gave it much thought. I'd bowled there lots, but after that, like I really focused on. Didn't pay attention. Then we played. I said, "Oh, I guess they play the final there every year in 7 and 8." And then I started, and since then, I have never really played good enough set. It's literally in my head now. Like it's kind of like 3 and 4 at your house.
It's perfect.
I know that once I have I don't remember the good things. I remember all the bad things that happen, and I just I'll come to a lane. I'll be like, "Oh God, here we go again. What's going to happen here?" And then it becomes a self-fulfilling thing, But I realize it's the wrong train of thought, but I can't stop myself from thinking that way. So.
Lenny, but you have superstitions everywhere. You've mentioned to me every second or 13, 14 or every second inside lane or something like that you don't like or something.
I don't like. I definitely have lanes where I have lanes that I like in every a set that I'll like. But what I find and I said maybe it's all in my head, but I find like I'm gonna go out of a tournament like I would say in Regina, Regina, I might have made the cut there. I don't know. Let's say I made the cut there 9 times. So if you're gonna be knocked out of the tournament, you've got 18 losses. Well, I'll be willing to bet you that my 18 losses are probably no more than on 2-3 different sets. It's like I sit back and say, yep, I'm going to lose on 1 and 2. If I'm playing somebody on 1 and 2, there's a good chance I'm going to lose. And another set, I know I'm going to lose. So all of a sudden, if I play on 1 and 2 in a match and I beat somebody, then in my head right away, I'm start thinking, this might be your day. I think you might win this tournament because, my God, you got that monkey off your back. And you start thinking stuff like that. But I seem to get knocked out of tournaments on the same sets all the time.
Yeah, That's 17-18 at Paradise Lanes for me. That set eats me up. I don't get it.
Ever since they put the synthetics in over there, I tell you, it was brutal there for a while. But yeah, it's way better now. But yeah, I hated that set, 17-18.
I don't mind it, but the synthetics made it better. At least you don't have the hop in the lane anymore.
Yeah,
that pole gets me all the time on the approach too. I always end up having to move my spot over about a board and a half just so my backswing doesn't catch it.
That's a big reason why I started playing right side all the time. Because I never have to worry about a wall, never have to worry about a pillar, and nothing. Never have to worry about any of this stuff.
Yeah,
don't have to worry about a ball return.
My current spot's a little bit further over right, so yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Right, left, move way left.
Into every wall possible.
Yeah, exactly.
As a righty.
Yeah.
1-2 at Golden Mile is just a coin flip, anyways, Lenny. So that's such a weird set.
But you know what? I hate that set. Yes, I absolutely agree. Ever since Rick Schaefer got into that, Rick came over the first time we were there, and he's like, "Look at this. The approaches aren't even like flushing. He put a ball down and slam right into the wall, eh?" And ever since then, I was like, I am not even walking straight. Like he mind screwed me like instantly.
Sounds like he planted a seed and you got a lot of fertilizer up
He
there.
did. Yeah, he did. I said, Rick, why are we even here? We should be in Glencairn. He's like, oh, go to hell.
I still remember us telling Kevin Clark about that lane when he was on our podcast. He had no clue.
Yeah.
So put a ball by the ball rack and watch it slam against the wall.
Yeah,
it's just the approach, guys. The lane is flat.
What bugs me about 1 and 2 is I realize the way the approach is, and I usually find something on them. I don't, it's not. I might throw a different ball on them than I'm going to throw on the others, but I find something that works there. But what bugs me is if I'm struggling, every now and then I'll think that I threw a really good ball with really good release and get nothing, and I'll be like, well, what the heck? And then so that's the only time where I start checking. Well, I better check to see what my speed is, just to see if I'm, maybe I got a little excited. And 1 and 2, they're whacked. Like you could throw the exact same ball. They'll register about 5-6 miles difference on those 2 lanes. So that's usually the only time I'm struggling. It might be on 1 and 2. So that's where I want to check my speed. I'll be like, well, I can't even go off of these things because they're not right.
Yeah.
And those are the only thing I found over there. Like I think it's number 2. I think it registers it way faster or way slower than what you really throw, but one of them doesn't register right.
I think on not all the sets, but most of the sets, the right lane always registers faster than the left lane. So I'm not sure if it's how their reflectors are positioned or something like that.
And that it might be the case on a lot of the other lanes, but I just have never noticed because I've never looked for it. But I seem to be struggling more on that set, and then I kind of watch, and then I'll be like, wow, I threw these 2 balls the same, and it's telling me this one's way faster, Yeah,
exactly.
I find lane 1 hooks a little bit harder from right to left on lane 1.
You just think it's slanted. That's why.
Well, it is slanted, but the approach is, well, basically you start to walk downhill, right, to the left-hand side, and then you try to overcorrect it with the shot, right? So it probably is more of a, like, trying to turn it around your body a little bit more than you're normally used to, just because the approach is going away from the shot. So
yeah. I'm not too sure.
I always kind of had a strategy in my head playing Regina. My goal playing Regina was always like, give me a 500 for the 2 walls. Give me a 250, a 250. I'll make that cut. And that's what I've always. And then the year that I won the tournament, I did nothing, and I think I had to finish off against the 2 walls, and I think I shot like 700 just to make the cut. And that was the year. Actually, I think that was the year that I was playing the qualifying with you, Adam. And I remember thinking in my head, I'll just piggyback off Adam here. I'll stay within 200 of Adam and I should be fine. And I think he beat me by over 300 that day. And I still qualified because I think he shot 25 something or, he shot a high qualifying.
Yeah.
I still think that's the highest qualifying mark on the WCBT since it started. I'd have to look in the record book, but I'm pretty sure that's Adam set the mark at the highest one.
No,
I thought you beat it in Edmonton.
My
TBC.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I'm only a qualifier, boys.
Well, we know.
Yeah.
So I guess since we're kind of talking about those tournaments and stuff, let's talk a little bit about the Heritage Traditional coming up in the second weekend in August. So Alberta has moved into phase 2, and the tournament is a go at this point in time. And I know Michael Wiss brought up a question about provinces for travel restrictions and stuff like that. So right now, Ontario, BC, Saskatchewan, and Alberta do not have any travel restrictions. They have travel advisory or whatever telling you that you probably shouldn't go across borders, but there is no 14-day quarantine for those provinces. Manitoba, Quebec, and I think most of the eastern provinces still have a 14-day quarantine entering that province. So if the guys from Manitoba want to come out, when they go home, they would have to do a 14-day quarantine situation. Unless that changes before August, which most probably it will. But for the rest of the western provinces in Ontario, it looks like it's free and clear. Maybe just don't tell your political representative that you're leaving the province, but there is no travel restriction. So I'm going to speak a little bit on the WCBT side of things. I don't believe we are going to look at changing the point system at all for those reasons, because there is no actual restrictions on travel. So hopefully that answers Michael's question. And what do you guys think about Heritage going to be up and running.
I think it's good. I think it's good. They're going to have something. I know we've opened our doors up on Monday, and it's been slow. So it's going to be good that I think there's going to be some bowling around. I know there's going to be some changes, obviously. Speaking with Mike, and Dexter's been speaking with Mike, and I know everybody else has, and the committee out there, and Cindy and Shelby and everybody else out there. They're going to be running shifts, and they're not going to do bakers, I do believe, right? So there's going to be running shifts, I believe a Thursday night shift instead of the doubles, and they're going to be running Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and Friday night single shifts, and then just Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon single shifts. So I assuming that the website might be updated, or just let them know anyway what your shifts are. Obviously, it's going to be capped at 40. There's going to be some other things that are going to be changing up in there with restrictions and whatnot. So let them know, but make sure you guys re-enter online on Heritage Traditional's website if you guys are coming. So please make sure you do that. But I think it's great. It gives us a little bit more normality. And like I said, if you guys don't feel safe in going and feeling on the restrictions on that, please stay home. But I'm utmost. I think they're going to be doing a great job of making us still feel safe out there. So I have no. For me, I have no worries of feeling unsafe at Heritage Lanes. So I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I can't wait. Definitely looking forward to having the opportunity for some competition balls again. Definitely interested to see what they kind of have in store for us. So such a large place, and unfortunate to have to cap it at 40 players, and essentially I'd have to assume no other fans or family or anybody coming out either, right? So it's going to be really different. I think everybody's going to be really respectful of the rules that are in place, or the guidelines that are in place. Obviously, Heritage runs top notch, so I'm not worried about anything there. I'm just I'm still a little worried that there might be a pullback from Alberta Health if there was something else to come up over the next 5-6 weeks. But certainly keep my fingers crossed, and I'll definitely be there.
Pretty excited about hearing 40 people. That should be a nice quick pace.
Well, Lenny. So this was the thing. So when I was signing up to my shifts, I'm like, normally it's like morning because I'll take the quick pace in the morning. I don't want to deal with it, and now I'm like, well, you know what, son of a bitch. I'll just do the evening shifts now. I can wake up late, right? I don't have to be there right away, right? Because they're all going to be capped at 40. It's all relevant to me, right? So I can do the Friday night shift. I can do the Saturday one. It doesn't matter to me, right? So I can have a hot tub in the afternoon. I can do whatever I want that day and show up later. So
yeah, the thing with that though is you got to remember, this is over a month away. Those restrictions could be lifted by then. Heritage isn't going to keep it at 40 if all of a sudden the province says, "Oh, you can have 100 inside that building." They're gonna open it up.
Yeah, and realistically, I hope the best case scenario, what happens is that they make you redo all the entries again, right? It's right, and they redo it over, because we're a different world right now, and if they make us redo it, I'm perfectly okay with it. Yeah. I even mentioned to them, I was like, let's be honest with you right now. I think 200 entries or 240 entries might be astronomical, like we mentioned earlier. Maybe let Shelby just have the Friday night, and maybe maybe he can have recoup some costs on the open play, whatever he can have, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. And then we can have the other shifts available. But that's up to them, right?
The problem with that one is that when they have that many lanes, and if you get that many teams full, it goes so late. Like that. Well, that one more so than anyone affects the Saturday morning shift.
Well, there's no bakers at all. It would just be all singles. So it's irrelevant, right? So they might have.
I was just saying, if they were going to release the restrictions, and then they're going to say go with the baker, then
true enough.
But Tim, even if they open it up for open play, they still won't be able to have, if they keep the restrictions the way they are now, they still won't be able to have more people anyways. And that us going in, there's going to be food and booze while you're there. guaranteed, right? So I don't know if it makes a difference if you open play at this point.
Do we know the generalities of obviously 40 players? What are they going to do per lane? Do we know kind of that idea?
General talk right now. There's not a whole lot.
Yeah, there's no finalization on any of it. There's lots of ideas bouncing around. Dexter had a really good one that I'm not too sure if Mike and Shelby are going to take a look at. But
I told Mike about it.
Yeah.
And then Mike said that like that's actually a really solid approach. So what my idea is sign up with a group of 5 or a group of 6. Have that as your cohort family, because you're allowed to do that. You don't have to socially distance with your cohort family. So you can sign up with 5 or 6 people as a group, put them on one set at a time. So and then have a set in between each group. So use lanes 1 and 2. Let's say 6 people on that lane. Nobody on 3 and 4. Use 5 and 6. Nobody on 7 and 8. Use 9 and 10. Going down the line. When you're done that game, you move one set over as a pair. So now you're using 3 and 4. You're using 7 and 8. And then the lanes that you were on are now completely vacant. So that gives an opportunity for them to go down, sanitize, and move on. So that'll give you an opportunity to stay within those restrictions for cleaning and disinfecting in between groups, and still not having to worry about the social distancing because you're in a cohort family rather instead.
And that seems to work out really fine. They just really need to make sure then that when your set on 1 and 2 is done, and the set on 5 and 6 aren't done, that obviously you can't start on 3 and 4 till 5 and 6 is done. That's
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, we got to make sure that Len and Adam are playing together so that the pace of play is about the same.
That's something you say that. Like I prefer if in a qualifying round, I'd rather be playing with the 3 slowest guys out there, just because I don't like that getting done a game and then have a 12-minute wait. I like getting done a game and starting another one.
Yeah.
Type of thing,
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that is an option. So I like I said, I have utmost. I think it's going to be no issue at all. I think it's going to be just fine. Just if you, like I said, if you don't feel comfortable, obviously stay home. But we think it's going to be just fine to be out there, right? So,
yeah, hopefully Manitoba loosens their restrictions by then, and the guys don't feel like they shouldn't be coming because they get 14-day quarantine back in their own province. Hopefully, it opens up a little bit, and I don't think Heritage is going to get quite as many players as maybe last year or something like that. But I know there's lots of people itching that want to play, and it is only a few weeks before Tour Championship, and last chance to get enough points to get into that situation if you're a WCBT member. Obviously, there's going to be lots of cash prizes at the traditional. So I think there will be a decent enough turnout, especially with people being aware of the social distancing and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Can somebody tell Gino how to use a keyboard?
Good thinking.
Forgot the E and the X.
Good old D-Rock.
Thanks, Gino.
So what should we move on to? I guess we were speaking about the Alberta Centers opening up in phase 2. How's that going, Mr. Wisemans?
It is slow. It is very, very slow. I was super nervous, Monday morning coming in, because it's just a totally different world. And just we chose to open Mondays so that we could kind of ease into things. But I wish that our easing into things was a little bit more hectic than it is, because it's boring. We had so many projects to do throughout this break, and we got through them all. And now for us to be open and literally just sitting around waiting for people to come in really sucks. We've had, today I think we had the most groups at one time together, which was 3 lanes at one point. Other than that, it's like 1 lane at a time and super quiet, but it's the eye cigarette. But it's slow. We're doing a good job of keeping everything sanitized, and we're learning things along the way. But yeah, it's boring. It's really boring.
Yeah. You know, I think we just have to have that awareness of, in all centers have to have that awareness of just making sure the public knows that you're clean and you're making it safe for somebody. It was really good. One of our staff, younger kids, first day back, and he was super excited to be back. And somebody on the phone was calling and asking all these questions, and Dad overheard him say, you don't have to worry about coming in. It's our job to make you feel comfortable. Right. And I was obviously a little proud of him, but it was good to hear that, right? That's what our job is. And that's what all of our centers are supposed to be like. And people are going to be a little bit worried because in Alberta, they really opened up every stage basically right now. It's incredible. And it wasn't just one jump. It was a huge jump. And, some people are a little bit nervous about it, and as they should be if they feel that way. But I think once things get started, I think that after this weekend, I think things will be a little bit better. Kids Bowl Free opens up for a lot of centers, and I think more things will be better. But yeah, I think it just matters just positivity and moving forward with it. I know we're trying to do that drop-in tournament, so we'll see how that goes. And but I think, looking across the board, talking to other centers are in the same boat. And I think they said 50% of what they had last year, that's sort of what they're having. So whatever was coming in was 50% of that. So
yeah,
right.
It's going to take a little while for people to get their feet wet. It's just easing their way back into what we had before and how they're going to deal with it. So it's going to take some time.
It's going to be hard because, part of the I guess if there is a draw to bowling, the excitement about bowling is just, being out there with the friends, doing the high fives and all that. I said, and once you pretty much have to bylaw all that out, it makes it a different atmosphere. And then, people are wondering how to react. I personally couldn't be happier that we're going to get rid of the high five. It killed my insides a little bit every time I have to give somebody a high five. I die a little bit inside.
Why would you have to give him a high five?
What's that?
Why did you have to give him a high five?
Like you might have kept the ball on the lane, and then you've got to say good shot there, kid.
No,
right?
no, but you didn't have to. You
don't have to, yeah.
No, Tracy rubbed off on you. That's the problem.
Big old softy.
Yeah, no, that's just you. That's nobody else's fault. Yeah.
I can't wait to high five you, Lenny.
That's why you walk around. It's not because you don't want to.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons.
Lenny's the guy chasing high fives.
Yeah. Comes off the lane after his set of aces, wants to high five everybody.
You get a headpin, you clean the wood, and somebody wants to give you a high five, and you want to kick them in the nuts. I don't want to celebrate that.
That's Thursday Night League with Kerry. That's exactly how it is. Oh, yeah, Tracy does have a heart. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Congratulations, Tin Man.
So I guess let's get Len answering some questions here, Adam.
All right, sure. All right, Len, you ready?
Sure.
All right. Who is your bowling mentor or idol growing up?
Probably for a bowling mentor, I'd have to say my brother. Bowling idol, I would. There would definitely be there's I guess two of them. When bowling up and growing up in PA. They have one team that won a Canadian title, a men's team there, and players up there. So a lot of people looked up to him, but there was one fellow in particular, Manny Primo. I just thought, it was really weird. My brother bowled and I didn't, but I got interested in bowling, so I went and I started watching tournaments. And I went for 2 years with him, watched all the Open. We rented hotel rooms, watched the Open, watched these guys play. I knew a lot about bowling. A lot about different bowlers and good bowlers in different cities before I ever picked up a ball. I had never thrown a ball yet. I just remember out of all the bowlers I was watching, he was just so smooth. And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, it would be so nice to throw a ball that smooth. So this Manny Primo was just a great bowler. And, He still bowls now, and he probably is still capable of making the Open in that, but he doesn't try out anymore. I always would have wanted to play on a team with him. Just thought he was, it. And then when I started bowling on the tour, you meet a lot of great bowlers. The guy that I've always looked up to, and that I still tell people right now that I think is the best bowler I've seen in my time, they're just all-around competitors, is Mark Jackson. It was just incredible to me the way I didn't think he had a great style. I didn't think he had a great ball. He just willed it to work everywhere. He didn't have a good help. He found a way to make it work everywhere. I was always impressed with that. Yeah.
So was it like a dream come true when you beat Mark in the Masters? You didn't feel like, it felt, to me, it was like, it was beating, to me, who I thought was the best bowler in Canada. Yeah, it felt great. Yeah, it made it actually feel a little better beating that person type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was a great player.
Going into that match, was your thought process any different?
Actually, going into that match, with my thought process was a lot different. To be perfectly honest, because I just know I can't. I'm fading now in my memory as to whether they did it at the same time or whether they did. But like, I was playing Mark Jackson in the final, but Tracy was also playing Diane Vailini in the final. And I just know when I was going into that, I was thinking more about her match. I really was, and I really wanted us to both be able to win in the same year. I thought that would be pretty neat, type of thing. And I can't remember now if they're running them at the same time or whatnot. But I think the whole thought of, wow, we could both win Canadian singles titles in the same year together, that would be pretty neat. So that was more going through my mind than the match itself.
Very interesting. Do you have a favorite event, either on tour or national?
I've always liked, I've gone lots of times to Masters, so I like playing the Masters. But the tournaments, there's something I like about all of them. And there's odd things I don't like, but I like the match play. I like I don't like it sounds like I haven't had a lot of success at Calgary, that's granted, but I don't like you lose and you still get a chance. I don't like I don't like that you lose 3 out of 4 games and you still I understand people like that. I understand other people hate the fact that you could go into a match, shoot a 900, and there's only one other person in the whole bowling alley who shot higher, and you're playing him and you're knocked out. And I'm like, great, that's the way it should be. I like that. I like the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're going to play them, you beat them, they're out. You don't go and play each team once. So that kind of thing I like. But the part I do like about Calgary and I do like about Red Deer is I like the fact that when I'm playing somebody in a match, if I'm playing you, Adam, I like the fact that if I've played 21 games that day, I know you've played 21 games that day. Whereas sometimes you go playing the other ones, you might be on your 27th game and you're playing against somebody who's on their 15th game type of thing, because they got knocked out on one side or whatever. So, but at that same side, you love the thought that you can maybe get first and second in that tournament because you can win both sides. So, there's pros and cons to everything, I guess, that way. But and out of all the tournaments, my favorite event that I've been to, favorite tournaments to play, probably is the Green and Gold. And I only did that in the last 4 or 5 years, and I started realizing like it was just more enjoyable, to go out and be able to play with your kid, and I really like that event.
It was about time you finally got to a real answer.
That's a great answer. The Green and Gold tournament is a fantastic tournament. I wonder if the WCBT or another center could run like a mixed doubles event for tour players or competitive players. Because the Green and Gold is obviously fairly well set in history, where it has a handicap side and it has a scratch side. And obviously it's such a large center that you can get so many teams involved into it. But maybe we can add something like that throughout the years too.
Well, the only scratch is on the side pots though, right?
Yeah.
But that's where the money is.
Yeah.
So love that.
Well, they even split that in half.
It's just such a good atmosphere to just there's so many people in there, and there's so many competitive bowlers in there, but there's also so many people in there that aren't competitive, and it's just I really enjoy seeing them all playing together, playing that event is really enjoyable.
Good answer. Do you have a specific match that you would classify as maybe your toughest or most memorable?
My most memorable for me playing well would probably be I had a match in Edmonton at Bonnie Doon, and I was playing against Crystal Hibner. And I just remember she was I don't even know, she just got out of the way, but she was pretty young, and she just came throwing bombs at me. And I can't remember, like, the match. She shot 3 300s, I shot 3 300s. I don't know if I ever trailed her, and I don't know if I ever got more than 5 or 10 pins ahead of her. It was just ball for ball, and I really enjoyed that one. At the end of that, I remember telling her, I said, I think that might be the best I've ever played. Not the highest score, but just the best I've ever played, because there was no frame where you could take a deep breath or a sigh or relax. It was just always on you type of thing. And then I've had so many, like, Gino's really thumped me a lot of times. Me and Gino have I probably played Gino more than anybody in my career. Gino, probably Mark Jackson, and Tom Stevenson. Those would probably be who I've had the most matches against. And for the longest time, when I was playing Gino, it would be like the first guy to 650 would win. We were terrible. And then that had, I'm sure twice he shot over 800 at me in the first two type of thing. Like, I've played Gino, shot 600 and say, well, I got to shake his hand because I got no chance. Like, so, but, yeah, I remember matches. Like, I know a match against Tom Stevenson. I was at KG. I think it was getting into the Calcuttas, getting into the Final Four to get up there. I had a match where I had Tom. I think I pitched to the right. I had Tom beat if I just hit another pin. I had 2 more balls and I pitched to the right 2 more times. Those kind of matches haunt you, and yeah. So memorable, but I don't know if it's a good memory.
Did you end up winning that match against Crystal?
Yes, I did. Yeah. But it was just a great match. Yeah.
Excellent. What's in your arsenal?
I throw. Well, I've got about 10, 11 sets of balls. My first 8 sets of balls I bought all 5-inch, 3/8. That's just what I throw, and I just like the different materials. I wanted the ball to be in my hand and feel the same. And it was only actually the year that I won Regina, I bored a set of balls, and they were 4 7/8. So then I had to go and buy a set. So I throw now. Generally, what I throw is 4 7/8 4 7/8 soft rolls, 4 7/8 hard rolls or aramiths, and then I carry 5-inch star lines. I've always liked the star lines. The star lines back when it was wooden lanes. For some reason, I found for me, like, I know I don't throw hard, but every now and then you'll find yourself overthrowing a ball. The star lines were the ball that I can overthrow and get away with. They carry, for me, if I throw the ball too hard, they seem to still carry good. There's times where you're throwing too hard and you can slow down, but it's like you're throwing too hard, but it feels really good. And I just don't want to slow down. This feels really good. Then I'll go grab the star lines and I'll start throwing them. So, yeah, basically it's star lines. The first set of balls I ever had, like, I've never gotten rid of any balls. First set of balls I ever had, I got off of Don Sims, and that was my first Masters that I ever went to. Don had just started, selling the balls. Why not? He was asking me about balls, and I said, well, I should buy a set. And then he all of a sudden he gave me a tell you what, and he made me a deal. And he said, well, if you guys, I think it was I can't remember if it was we beat them that game or if we beat them, finish ahead of them in the tournament. But either way, we were playing, and he said we'll bet on a set of balls. And it was. We ended up. I think we took them 8-0. And that year, and he, I still remember his famous line. It was about frame 7 or 8, and he walked up and he looked. He goes, "My God, we've got 5 strikes, in the 7th frame as a team, and I don't even think we deserve them." He said, "Like, we did play well, but they played really bad." That year, that was, that's actually a funny thing there. That year, our team. That was the first year I went. Our team got 3rd. We got a medal. Back then, I think you only played 18 games because I don't think they had. I don't think Quebec had teams, and our record was 7-11. We had way more losses than wins. There was 3 teams that had better records than us that we beat, because it seemed like when we lost, we took a 3, and when we won, we were taking 8s. Type of thing, So yeah, we didn't have a great record, but we got a medal. I said you don't see that too often where you have a losing record and you still medal.
No.
Yeah, for sure. We'll keep story time going here. We had a question from the audience asking you to tell a story here, and it's from Mr. Schneider.
Oh, great.
Something about a banana match against Tom Patterson.
Oh yeah. This is a long story, but I don't know.
We've got time.
We've got time.
Okay, well, I'm going to feel bad because I know I talked to Tom about this. I had mentioned it this year, and when I told him the story, he's like, "I did not realize that," and I said, "Well, that's the way I remember it, And so what it was that weekend. That was the year I won KG. But that weekend we were bowling good, and Tom was playing with Tracy and I the day before, in the 3-player event. So we're playing, and we played really well. And I think I won the 3-player event. Like I ended up finishing. They had the 2 shifts of the 3-player event, and I got first in both. With my teams, I was first in both of them. But we won with me, Tracy, and Tom, and we won. Like, Tom was he gained. I don't know if he played 3 or 4 games there, but he threw a big giant, like a 400 or 420. He was just cooking it. And then the next game, he was struggling. And I'm playing with Tom, and I know he's a great shooter, and he thinks about the game. He'll figure it out. And he's struggling, and he's struggling, and he's struggling. And it was about frame 7. And I just told him, I just said, Tom, for what it's worth, I'm just noticing you're throwing the ball harder than you were the last game. You took up the speed. I said, I don't know if you're trying to or if you're aware of it, but I just thought, you're throwing the ball harder. He was like, okay. And we made an adjustment and bowled well, and we ended up winning. Then the next day, we're playing the match play in the thing, and I played Diane Violini the first match. And it was kind of like the Crystal Hibner match. It was a great match. Like she beat me, and it was like, might have been 850 to 880. We were just going ball for ball, but she beat me. So you're not in a good mood. You lost. And then on the other side, I'm playing Tom. And I started out struggling. Tom started with a 6-bagger. And he came off the lane, smiled at me and said, "How's my speed today?" And I went ballistic. Went up there, threw the balls, came back, seen his banana, and I just whacked it. And so, all these years, Tom's been like, "Well, you crushed my banana," and I finally told him, said, "Well, you do know why?" And he's like, "No." And I told him the story. He was like, "I can't believe I did that. I said that," type of thing. And I was like, "Well, that's what it was, and that's what I was." But I have to thank Tom because that, I was literally vibrating, so angry, but just kept focused the rest of the day. Like, I ended up winning the tournament. I come back, he was crushing me. Come back, I win that match, and then I never really looked back after that. And I know you had Jim Head on last week, and it was actually kind of funny because I can't remember if that was just before or it was the same year or within a year of when I won with Mark Jackson. I think it might have been just after, but I just remember seeing, and at that time, you still allowed smoking in the bowling alleys, and Jim was a smoker. And I remember playing, and Ray Rassrab was at the back, and I just remember telling Ray, "I'm not going to let this guy get a drag of a cigarette this match." So that was one of the times where I was playing, and I was trying to, I'd throw the ball and I'd walk over the ball, return, grab the next one, and go. And I just thought, yeah, well, I'm not going to let him, that was in my head. I'm thinking, I'm not going to let this guy even try and get a drag of a cigarette if I can help it. Type of thing.
I love it.
That's a long story. I know it was the banana story, but I wanted to give you the background of why. I didn't just go crush his banana for no reason. I thought it's justified, But yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, that's very good. What's left on your bucket list?
Winning. I still want to win open singles. I want to win another master singles. I'd like to win an open team event. That's definitely opener. I've never won a gold medal on a team for a national. I'd like to do that, but I doubt. I doubted if any of those things are going to come true. But yeah, they're on the list. I want to. I'm not. I'm not going to, like, I wouldn't enter Red Deer unless I think I can win it. If I don't think I'm going to win something, I won't enter. But yeah, I'd like to win. Like I've got the, what have you got, Tim? Two or three silvers in the
two silvers.
Yeah, I've got 2 seconds in Masters. I've got the first. I've got a third. And I'm sitting there going, I want to get another win in that. And I've got the silver and bronze in the team for the Masters, but I haven't got a gold yet. I said I want to get a gold. That would be nice. Yeah. And now it's really become for me a goal should just be making a cut. You know, making a cut. If I made a Masters team, I'm pretty happy with that. You know, it's not that I know you're not as sharp as you used to be or whatever, but I sit back and say when I get on a roll, I don't feel like I'm any worse than I was. Like when I'm bowling good right now, I feel like I'm as good as I ever was. It's just that it used to maybe happen quite more frequently. Now it might happen, you know, you might get on that roll once or twice in a year now, whereas it used to be a weekly thing, you know.
Yeah.
Tracy's just throwing out the shots here towards you, Lenny.
Coach your kid to a national gold.
Well, I got to learn how to win one before I can coach her to one.
How was your first Open experience?
I was really good. Like I said, the guys I played with were great. I felt really bad. I told you guys a story earlier. Everybody feels like they could, at one point or another, you cost your team a match or a point. And I kind of feel like I cost us some points at the end when I was trying to make the step ladder that we probably could have got in. I really respected the fact that none of the guys brought it up. None of the guys said anything. It is what it is. They were a great bunch of guys.
Anybody that knows you, Lenny, knows that you're a competitive guy and you would never do anything intentionally to hurt people's chances. So
yeah, but a lot of people that know me also know that I'm a moron. I don't think things through all the time.
Lenny,
I might not have done it intentionally, but I still might have hurt them.
in all fairness, Lenny, that's partially Dexter's fault just as much. So it's a 50-50 blame.
I was thirsty.
So if you guys don't know, Dexter and Lenny had a game where they're betting for a drink at Open National.
Well, we were both terrible. Well, we were terrible. We were great. That's for sure. And neither of us had 300 at that point.
And I don't think their team knew. Their teams. Well, I don't think Lenny's team knew that they were betting a drink. But I think
our team knew. Our team knew for sure. So Lenny's team was Saskatchewan was 2 lanes over from us. And who are we facing?
I think it was even further than that. It was like 6 or 8 lanes over.
It was a ways over.
No, I think it was only 2 sets over. I think
2 sets.
Yeah, because we were able to keep pretty good track of each other. And we bet again. We said, hey, first guy to get to 300 or first guy to throw a 300 will win a drink. And then all of a sudden we learn how to bowl.
Yeah, as soon as he said that, I think I started out with a 5-bagger, and I think Dex started out with about a 7 or 8-bagger or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I just remember thinking to myself that Dex is going to be getting 300 for sure. I said, but I remember telling myself, I told Dex the first 300, and I know our team's going to be 3 frames ahead of you guys. So I'm thinking all I have to do is finish this game off, get a 300, and Bob's your uncle. And I believe I don't know if I popped 9 and 10. I think I popped 8, and then I threw a strike on 9. I was like, well, I still got a 300, barring a headpin. And I punched on 10. Didn't really give much thought into the next shot. Threw it. I think it went through the hole, and I don't even know if I hit anything on the last ball. But I just remember at that time we had the match I thought sewn up in one, and we were playing Northern, and I was playing. I think it was Taylor Michelle, and I can't remember now if he came back and got my point. But he definitely banged out, and then their anchor banged out, and we ended up losing total by probably it was minimal. It was. I think if I cleaned up that headpin, I think we carried the team total still. And then I think we missed making the step ladder by 1 point or something like that, and that might have been the second last game of the tournament. So, like I said, it was another one of my dumb things that I can put on my mantle and be proud of.
But
Len, you just blame it on Dexter. It's fine.
Well, the thing is I got my drink and he didn't even have to ask me what I drink because I've won a few drinks off of him in my time.
Well, the nice thing I learned is that it doesn't even seem to bother Dex that I spit in everyone.
God no. I've got the same haircut, man. It can't be that bad.
Huh.
That was a good one.
I guess one question, you've been around the game forever. What's the sport still missing? What's kind of the next step to improve it?
Well, I personally would like to see, but it's never going to happen. Like there's things I like about the Masters. There's things I like about the Open. I'd rather they both went away and we had one Nationals, and I just don't. I don't think you should have to bowl based on your area code, based on your postal code. Bowl with whoever you want. Make a team, and I don't care if you're from the same province or not. I'd like to see it more like curling, where you decide to pick your team, and these are the guys you're going with, and go to war. That's what I'd like to see. But I realize it's not a real popular, stance. But yeah, that there's things I'd like to see different on the tour that we don't do. Like I personally, I don't care about, I understand there's some people saying that there should be consolation, not consolation, the winner in. I don't care about that. If the guy you want to bring the consolation winner in, that's fine. I'd rather see, Gino's going around and selling those tickets for $20. I don't know how much money he usually makes off there, but for me, I'd rather see rather than being anybody from the Calcutta, I'd rather see it be, we're doing this draw and you can either get shifts into the next tournament or $500 cash. Let's just say for hypothetical that he's going to get 100 people bowl, sell the tickets to 100 people. I'd rather see it be $500 paid out, and then that $1,500 don't go to the Calcutta, put that towards the year-end tournament. Do that for 4 tournaments and get an extra $6,000 in the pot for that. I don't know why the Calcuttas don't need to get bigger. We don't need to help I think you're going to help the tour more by putting more money in the final thing. So I'd rather see him selling those tickets and have that money go towards that final event and make that event bigger.
Yeah, me and you have kind of discussed that in the past few years about adding situations where a person could earn a spot or the $200 next shift or something like that. There is definitely a lot saying for that. I don't know if on this podcast if we should talk too much about the bowling investment seminar, but
yeah, I realize that.
But it is definitely a part of the game, and a lot of people are there for it. Most of them are obviously bowlers. We don't have the guys coming in from out of town just to play it anymore. So I do agree with you. They are fairly large enough that we don't really need to make them that big anymore. But
yeah, and what happens to me, the way I just look at it is that the money that he's raising, and I realize that it's, anybody can do the investment seminar, but I just what I'm saying is what's going to happen is generally whoever has the winner, is taking the big chunk of that money is going to go to that. And I said, if you put it towards the final event, it's going towards at least that money is going to get split up around 12 bowlers, or however many bowlers you have type of thing. And, more people are going to see the advantage of that money type of thing, but it is what it is. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the way it is. I just think that money could be better suited somewhere else, still for that final event,
Totally agree with you.
Yep.
Or split it even.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
What Gino's done with that to bring that along
It's
over,
incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And the absolute right guy to do it. It just.
He's persistent. That's for sure.
After Lonnie's winning TPC, I'll never complain again. He'll get my $20 without me batting an eye. So, if you had an opportunity to challenge one player, past, present, that maybe you haven't played against, who might that person be?
I don't know. I can't think of anybody that would come to mind that I want to, but I tell you what I'd like to do is I would love a chance to play, whether it's my kids or whether it's my wife. I'd like to play somebody in my family in a cash tournament. And I think anyways that I'm going to have a chance. My youngest daughter she's picking up the game pretty good, and I think she's going to probably eventually be a tour player. She's She seems to be right on the right track.
Mhm.
She's only 12. She might lose interest in the game, but she's doing really well. So I would look forward to having a match against one of my kids. That would be great. I'm sure I'd lose, but I'd enjoy it.
I've seen your pictures of like Festivus and stuff like that. How ruthless do you think that your match against your daughter would be?
Well, that would depend on which daughter. If it was my oldest daughter, it could be probably pretty ugly. If it was my middle child, it would probably be the funniest one. And if it was my youngest child, that's the one I'm probably going to lose to. Yeah.
You do the feats of strength, do you?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Sometimes it takes her a while to pin me.
Tracy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you have kind of like a unique or obscure personal achievement that others may not know about you?
I don't know about personal achievement, but I definitely have unique, shit in the bed stories of having something wrapped up and just letting it all go away. Like the one that still haunts me to this day was back when they first started the CBCs. And I just remember thinking, I want to win the CBC so bad. And then I was really probably at the top of my game. And I just thought, I'm going to, and they brought in the rules in Saskatchewan that after 10 games, the next they stop and then you go to 5 games the next day. But they brought in the rule where it was only the top 5 bowlers bowl the next day and anybody within 250 pins of the leader. And I was having a good tournament, and I was in first place in the tournament, I think, after 6 games. And I went on and I won the pot game for the 7th game, the pot game for the 8th game, the pot game for the 9th game, and the pot game for the 10th game. And I was more than 250 ahead of second. I had everybody crushed. And started out the next day, there was only 5 of us playing. I started the next game with a 6-bagger. And that weekend I finished 5th in the tournament. Got beat by everybody.
Wow.
Wheels fell off. A 6-bagger. I've got probably a 350 pin lead with 45 frames left, and I couldn't stop munching. Couldn't stop. I was still in first place going into the last game, but everybody was coming in, getting closer and closer. You feel it slipping away, and you can't do anything about it. I said, I still wake up at night shaking my head, going, "How did I let that get away?" It happens. So,
were you able to pinpoint the issue looking back on it?
Yeah, lack of talent. Nailed it right on the nose. It's hard to something like that. It's hard to win when you're trying to win something or do something. The hardest part is doing it the first time, because you're just like, well, I came close and I choked. So then after you have an experience like that, well, then my God, I'm amazed that I made it there, after that, because it's in your head every time. Like then all of a sudden, if you just start hitting 1 or 2 pins, right away it's, oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go. And just all the bad thoughts just come rushing in. And,
Yeah.
Wow.
So other than that, I don't know about. I can't think of a lot of other. I don't know. I might be the only person that I can think of that in 3 different tournaments I've shot over 2,500, and not been beat all 3 of them. All of them have been at the CBC, what used to be the old pin house, and I shot a 25 something there for a Masters, and I think Moans had 25, I might have had 25-20, and Moans had 25-40 or whatever it was. They had that cash tournament there. I shot 25 something, and it was a very easy house. And I remember thinking to myself, I was in first place in this cash tournament. Tom Stevenson, he had like a game to play, and he started out. I think he needed like a 4 something to beat me. He started out with a 2 or 3 strikes, and I just went home saying, I think I'm going to have second spot. Yeah, he ran it out and he just shot another 2,500 and something beat me. That happens. But like I said, that's no accomplishment. It's just one of those things. You're like, God damn it.
And it's not like you lost; they just beat you, right?
Yeah, I've got a lot of obscure things. Like people always talk about, well, in YBC, I didn't, they didn't get to nationals. I never made it to a YBC provincial, not once.
Mm-hmm.
I played the one year I played. I was high average, and I might have been high average by 30, 40 pins over everybody else. And I didn't even make it into my bowling alley. Didn't make it in the top 8 to get on, or the top 5 or whatever it was to get on your team. I've got a habit of just being terrible. And then I said, my best, I would say my best skill is the fact that I can take a loss.
Yeah.
Take a loss, I'll be like, oh, there's going to be a lot more to come after that. This ain't a good sport to be if you think you got to win everything.
Lenny, there's always like the thing I think we've always loved about you is that you've always been upfront and honest and blunt for the just how you feel, right? And then I'm still like I remember our moment. I think I've only played you once in my life, and it was on the WCBT finals. And I still remember this.
You also beat me in Calgary, but it was a 1-game match.
It was a 1-game. Well, both won. But I remember we were walking in, and you said to me before we even played our match, it's like, yeah, I think you're gonna beat me this game. Yeah. And I came out and beat you like 9-1. And it's like, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I'm saying there is like, why would you give somebody confidence before I even walked in there? And he's like, no, I just had the feeling. I was watching you, and I just knew that was gonna happen. And I'm like, but you've always been that way, and you've been always fair and honest, and there's something about it. I don't know. It just
yeah, like
it's just his character. Yeah.
I don't like that when my biggest knock for a lot of bowlers is, I don't know, we seem to want to look for reasons why we lost.
Yeah.
You lost because the other guy was better.
Yeah,
that's just what it was.
I know.
And I think it's a waste of time to sit back and stew over it. And like when I lose and I'm driving home there's so many times where I lose a tournament and I'm driving home. I'm always just thinking about what I could have done different. What should have I done different? And when I lose a tournament, usually I come home and I go straight to the bowling alley. I just start throwing balls, just start practicing. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that when I lose, I get motivated because I'm motivated. I'm not motivated to win. I'm motivated to not lose. I sit back and say, when I win, I'm happy I didn't lose, but I'm not really, and I don't get anything from it. Like I learn from, you should try and learn from every loss. Like, the one thing I do is, even when I'm having a crappy shift, it'll be like, no, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to try everything, do whatever. And I might throw balls that are just going to look terrible, but I'm sitting back going, well, I'm not, what I'm doing ain't going to work. So I'm not going to keep doing the same thing. I'm going to try everything I can, try out all the different tricks and see what you can find something. And there's so many times where I've thrown a shift and shot like 17, 18, 19, just terrible. And then back it up with a 2400 because you found something. It'll be like, yeah, I found something in this 6th frame of the 7th game. And I think I found something. Better put another $200 in and play again because I think I found it, And
yeah, you know what? That's such a great lesson, Lenny, and that's something a lot of the younger bowlers need to hear, and honestly, some of the older ones. You see so many people that they'll have a terrible 5 games, and then either just start hucking balls and not caring, or you see a lot of them some of the older guys just quit, and. You're putting in $200. Use that time to figure out something, man.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that'll work. Like if it's terrible and it's a write-off already, find something.
Well, I don't see the point in. To me, it's either walk out, or if you're going to throw balls, have a purpose to it. Like there's been plenty of times where I played a tournament, not going to make the cut. It's the last shift. There's no other shift, and obviously with this, if you can win the constellation, you might get back in. I'm not usually thinking about that, but usually what it'll be like, damn it, I can't figure this out. I want to find something for next year. I just got to find something, because if I find something that works, I'll remember it next year type of thing. But let's try and, rather than sit there and wallow in the fact that it's not happening this year, do something productive and try and find something that'll work for next year or whatever,
Absolutely.
Go get a side pod or something out of it too, right?
Yeah.
I know Timmy mentioned that you had a few superstitions, and obviously with your somewhat quirky nature at times, care to share any of those?
I don't even know. Like I'm not saying that I don't. I don't even can't even think of what I would consider to be one. There's just lots of things that I usually have. I don't know how you guys when you compete, but when I compete, I have a song in my head, and I'll get on a roll, and I'll get going. My whole problem is I don't freaking know what song it's going to be. It'll come in my head, and I can't get it out. And I still, Tracy will laugh because right now we'll be listening to music, and Jimmy Eat World will come on in the middle. And I'll be like, this goddamn song, this makes me sick. And she goes, what? And I'll say, 2 years ago in Regina, damn song was in my head, couldn't get it out. That's when I was actually playing U-Decks. And I was terrible. I had no timing at all. And it was going too fast because I was singing this song in my head, and I couldn't freaking stop. I was just like, that's what it is,
Jimmy Eat World, you say?
Yeah. Lonnie, got to write that one down, Lonnie. Yeah. Well, and I know your walkout song was Hard to Be Humble, right? So, I mean, that's another one you like to listen to.
Yeah. No, I definitely, like, for me, it's definitely a matter of getting a feeling. And, like, there's times that I don't know how to explain it, but there's just times where you're going to have a good day, and it can be on something simple. Like most of the times, you were asking, I think it was, I don't know if it was you, Dex, or who asked me before what you do to find it. And I don't know what I do to find it, but I can tell you this, that 90% of the time, if I'm not bowling good and I do turn it around and find it, I usually found that ball on a third ball throwing for a corner pin. Every now and then, and it's usually my right corner pin. Every now and then I'm throwing for my right corner pin. I don't even know what I'm doing, but it'll come out of my hand. I'll be like, that's the ball. That's the shot. And then I'll try it up the middle, and all of a sudden it starts working. I'm like, oh, there we go. There you go. So, yeah, I don't know what it is, but lots of times for me, it's far more beneficial. Like even I always tell myself in casting, just go up there and just throw it corner pins, right, left corner, right. My best ball that I throw has always been in my life at the right corner pin. I might miss the right corner pin lots, but I'm just saying the ball I throw at the right. There's so many times I've been throwing at the right corner pin. I was like, damn, I wish that was on the middle. I would have liked to see the pin splash on that because that ball was the one I wanted. It had the right rotation, the right, roll.
So you get the same feeling Blair Pizzi does when he misses the middle. He's like, oh, if I hit the middle, that was a bomb.
That would have been good, yeah.
Finger point. Definitely finger point. Hey, Lenny, you travel quite a bit to smaller tournaments as well. And we see up at Sherwood Park all the time, even for, just the $20, $30 tournaments. Just interested, what's the motivation for you to come out to those small tournaments?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I just, Tracy and I moved here now. We've been here about 20, 25 years in Cut Knife. Like I said, we got a bowling alley now in Cut Knife, but there's just not a lot of competitive play. There just ain't. And I used to think, oh, that's not going to affect you. You'll stay sharp. You just don't. You don't stay sharp when you don't throw meaningful balls. And we have a very short season there. Like, our bowling season's 18 weeks. Like, usually our bowling season, the first week of bowling here starts when your guys' TPC's on. That's when our first week of bowling is. And usually when Regina's on, we're just finishing our league and we're getting ready to start to play playoffs. So you don't have a long season. So I can do all the practicing I want. I can get a key to the bowling alley, walk in there and practice, but I'm saying practice ain't the same as throwing a meaningful ball. So every now and then you just need to throw some meaningful balls. It used to be a lot simpler bowling in the city, bowling in a major league, being able to side bet guys every night, and you're always staying sharp because you've always got meaningful balls. When you go a whole season, you never throw a meaningful ball, then all of a sudden you get to a tournament and it counts. It takes a while to get used to that feeling and to learn how to control it again. Yeah. So yeah, I try and play as many little events as I can. And now it's a lot easier now that, like I said, now that you got kids that are interested in the game and she wants to play as much as you can. I'll be like, yeah, let's go play this tournament. There's a pins over average tournament. There's a scratch side, and let's go play. Really enjoy getting to be able to go out and play with her or playing with other kids from the community or bringing guys along. Like, yeah.
You're honestly, you're so good for that, Len. And like, I don't know if you realize how like great that mentorship is, but what you do with the kids is fantastic. It was awesome that year that you brought Blake out to absolutely everything, and it was so good to see. And I'm sure he made a ton of connections, and certainly helped him along his way. But there's not a lot of people that put that amount of commitment into it, and kudos to you for doing that. That's
But
awesome.
it's easy to go up, like it's easy to do stuff like that when you see somebody that's kind of got the bug for the game and you know
Mhm.
love the game and whatnot. You
I
know,
just can't believe they trusted you to put him in the car with you or something. You know, like is
Yeah.
this kid ever coming back? Like,
No, that's right. Yeah,
Across
no,
the
so
border.
no, absolutely awesome. Yeah, it's super cool to see. I'm sure he really appreciates it.
no, he's a good kid, and that's just the thing though. You have to. I enjoy just if you're driving a tournament, you must as well have somebody to talk to. But you enjoy trying to just get into their heads and see what they're thinking at what time when they're throwing. And the real thing is trying to teach them that it's the competition level is so much different. You might be the big kid on the block in a little town, and then all of a sudden you go to a city and like wow. Then all of a sudden you go from YBC into the tour, and it's such a jump, and you just have to. The biggest thing is try and get them a little bit of a go over some speed bumps that you had to go through. You start telling them, the big thing is I find that so many kids they're good enough, but in their head they're so what's the word I want to use? They're so worried about that they don't belong, or that they're worried that others think they don't belong, that they're doing everything they can to try and show they belong, rather than just go there. And I was like, you got to really learn how to. You know what? You're here. You paid your money. You're as much as do as anybody else. Don't try and impress anyone.
Absolutely.
And as soon as it's an easy thing to say, easy concept to say, but once you actually grasp that concept, the tournaments become so much easier, just so much easier.
Yeah, it's a big learning curve, especially for those players coming fresh out of YBC, and all of a sudden you show up at the TPC and there's 200 and some entries, and it gets a little demoralizing if you're 70th or 100th after your tournament. But the more you play, the more you understand, the more comfortable you get, and it comes along. And like we've always said on these podcasts, once you make that first cut, like it becomes a lot easier, right?
Like I was always one of the things that impressed me the most about bowling was my brother. Like he started bowling, he was terrible, but then he just decided that he liked the game, and he said, "I'm going to get better." And he started bowling. I think his first year, second year he bowled, and then his third year he decided he was going to get better. Joined 11 leagues that year. 11 leagues. He bowled a Monday night, 7 and 9, Tuesday night, 7 and 9, did all 5 days, and then decided to have join a Sunday night league. He was into bowling, and he would enter the Open and finish dead last. Enter the Open, finish dead last. Did that about 3 years in a row. Didn't make the Open for about 5. Then he went and made the Open, won it, and then he was, I think, 10 years in a row, not only on the team, I think he was singles. It was definitely on the men's team. Like I said, yeah, he thought he had to get better, knew what he had to do, practice, and he did it and got better. But nowadays, you don't see that lots of times. You'll see somebody bowl and 1 or 2 cracks, and it didn't work. It's not working for me, and then they just give up.
It's huge, especially the kids out of YBC, right? I mean, the problem now is what I think is the pool is shrunk so much in the YBC program, right? Where there's a lot of success with a small pool, right? Where I think where they come out on tour or they play like their cash events or their opens and their masters, and they might not have that success right away, that they get deterred really fast, right? And I think the tour and I think those other people that have mentored them, I think they help them grounded and positive, but it's so tough, Len, right? I mean, like you see a lot of deterring from it, right? And I don't know how we keep them involved. I mean, as much as we try to stay positive, right? It's just a tough thing for us to do, right?
Like there's I often think you gotta look for the bright sides where you can get them. Like I just find like lots of times those kids that live in I'm gonna speak now from somebody from Saskatchewan, and not from but kids that live in the cities, kids that live in Saskatoon and the Reginas, they go up, they go through YBC. If they become decent bowlers, they never learn how to lose. They just win all the time. They don't know how to lose. A lot tougher for them coming out and coming into the adult ranks and then getting beat up on. They've never had to deal with losses their whole life, and all of a sudden they and lots of times those seem to be the kids that might not hang around. And I think, to be honest, it helps just getting beat up and saying, nope, I've got this. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. And like I said, I could win. I could live another 5 years and win everything I enter, and I'll still be 10 losses for every win. Like, you're going to lose way more than you're going to win. You got to learn to let it fall off your back and go again.
Best thing I ever happened to me, and I hate saying it, is we grew up a lot, and our program was pretty successful growing up. We had a lot of good core players we had. And the 1 year, how it worked out, we had a tryout for singles. I made the rep out of singles. I lost singles. I shot a 400. We almost averaged 300, and I lost just that year. And I had to go watch Dexter at Nationals, right? But it was probably the best. Best thing could have happened to me because I lost. I learned how to lose. I played well, but I lost, and I probably prepared myself as a individual bowler for my adult career better than I ever could have if I just played teams for the rest of my life, right? So I still got my ass kicked for many years before I made something else, but at least I had that experience for a while, and I understood what it took to take to the next level, right? But yeah.
Well, you use it as motivation.
Yeah. I used the 2016 Masters Silver as motivation for 2019 Masters Silvers too. So I'm still working on that, but I'm getting there.
You should take those medals home and get them bronzed.
Yeah,
gold plate them.
Yeah, Lenny, they're in a shoebox. Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
With everybody else's.
Yeah, they're in a shoebox.
So we do have a more pressing question. I'm sure the audience wants to know, Lenny, how does it feel throwing with the wrong hand?
I don't know. You guys, you've got 4 guys here that can tell me about it.
That's fair.
Yeah, no. The thing that I wish we had more of, and I understand it. I love the fact that our little bowling alley has wood lanes. Love it. I love wood lanes over synthetics, but I really love free fall over strings, and I realize it'll never come back. But throwing free fall was so much more enjoyable. It's just so enjoyable.
Not for my speed.
No, I don't imagine it would be.
No. You know what? I only got to play 2 games ever on free fall, and it happened to be in Rossmere at Nationals, and I lit it up. So I don't know what this speed thing is a problem.
Well, the thing is, I found anyways that it's the whole problem is trying to figure out what the pocket is. People think that the pocket is half the headpin, not even close. In
it's the beak.
Ball,
it's the nuts.
Right on the nose or right thin. Like go really thick or go really thin. But yeah, the safer shot for me is right on the nose. And I learned how to play on free fall. I've always believed in that, right on the nose. And I go for the nose if I'm got a chop. I'm going right for the nose of the 3-pin. And I never worried about it. If I punched it out, I'm gonna get the kickback. I'll get whatever. I always thought that when I was playing free fall. Then you go to string, it's like, wow, this is so different, When you're playing free fall, it's definitely almost, I guess, more like dancing. It's more about getting that rhythm and timing, not throwing hard. You don't ever want to overpower the pins, but all of a sudden you get there and you start realizing on string, it's like, yeah, speed really does help. And it's, you don't need it all the time, but it definitely is an asset if you can throw harder. I like more of the, I think it's more of a challenge for me to sit back and say, let's find that comfortable speed. Now let's just keep it at this exact same speed, not hard, not slow, and in between there. And yeah, I don't know. I found it much more challenge, more challenge to the game when it was free fall, but a lot more enjoyment too.
Mm-hmm.
So Lenny, playing back day, did you play on a lot of wood pins?
I don't think so, but I really don't know. I know the 1 year he brought in some wood pins in Minto, and I don't think he kept them for too many years. So I know I have played on wood pins, but I don't know what I'm sure they were all what they are now. I don't know if they what I played on. Didn't really pay attention. for me, I didn't worry about what the pins were type of thing.
I don't know where that sound came from, but that was
Cartwright
louder than
chasing
usual.
outside your window there, Lenny. They're coming for you. No, there's no way. There'd be a horse and buggy pulling up behind you. It doesn't make that noise.
Do you have any questions or topics for us, Lenny?
No, I guess I had so many when I was thinking, but now that you put me on the spot here, I always ask people, and I guess when I ask them that, they think that I'm trying to get something to hold over them, or I always ask people, what's your biggest choke? Because I know it. There's not a chance I believe nobody doesn't choke, and I always get kicked. Like, I don't mind saying when I absolutely I remember I had this conversation with Robert Shannis, and I remember that might have even been the same tournament, same year when I told you I against Tom Stevenson I did nothing, and Rob Shannis had the exact same thing happen. He pitched to the right side 3 times in a row to lose a match. He said just needed to hit a pin, and he goes, and my last shot he goes my second shot I didn't go, I just missed the head pin. He said my second shot I was going for the head pin, but the same shot, he goes, because I was throwing good, just missed again. He goes, so the third shot, he goes, okay, I'll go for the 3 pin. He goes, I was going for the 3-pin. He goes, and I slowed that ball down, and it just cut on me. He said, and it did the same thing. And I'm like, yeah. And we laugh about it. And I just think it's a good sign when you can be self-deprecating and laugh at what you did, what you lost. See, everybody, when I grew up, all the people talk about my older brother, and they say, "Wow, you got to be more like him. That guy can really, he's so much more mild-mannered than me, and he can take a loss and everything." And I'm like, yeah, you don't know him. He's all nice and that. He doesn't take a loss. Well, he loses something. He won't sleep that night. He'll just be up. It'll just bug him. And I'm like, I lose. I get mad. 5 seconds. It's over. Move on. Let's go. It's like water up. I'm way more animated on the lanes than he is. But I said, but I don't take losses, individual loss. Like, I do. I have losses that haunt me when it's like stuff like I said, like that CBC shift where it's like there's no reason to lose that. There's just no reason. You just But other than that, a loss. And in fact, you learn eventually as you get older. Those really embarrassing, really, really, how could you do that? Those are what you remember, and those you can't laugh at yourself. It's going to be a tough life,
We it reminds me of I don't want to bring this up to make fun of Mark Miller, but we always bring up the 2014 Masters, and he didn't go pitch, but he went 5, and then he threw it on the side. So he went right side, I believe, right, Kerry? He went through and 10, 5, and he threw it through the hole with, and then he looked at us. He doesn't look at the score, and he's like, "What do I need?" He's playing Trevor Cook. We're at Coronation in Winnipeg. He's like, "I just throw it in the wood." Right. And he's okay. So he threw it in the wood. And it was a left deuce. And he comes back. He's like, yes. He won his point. And he's like, no, you tied. So from then on, we had to say how many points you needed, because you think you're not aiming for the left deuce. You're aiming for like the 3-2 or something. Right. Yeah. So we all had a good laugh. Len didn't have a good laugh, but we all had a good laugh.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm sure Len had a good laugh, just not at that moment.
No, I don't know. I don't know if he had a good laugh.
I'm sure right now Len's chuckling to himself right now about that.
We'll find out tomorrow. Yeah.
Maybe on the bus ride from the bowling alley. Definitely not after that match. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, that's a classic moment that we'll always keep. And unfortunately for Mark Miller, he's done a couple of those. So hopefully he bounces back and forgets those. We'll keep bringing him up just to remind him.
Like I know the very first time I went to a Masters Nationals, the very first time, and I was warming up, and I had never been to a Nationals because I never did anything in YBC. And I just remember walking in there and thinking, well, this is going to sound it's going to sound terrible because I guess I am a terrible person. But I remember walking in there thinking to myself, I was expecting to see 70 Bruce Mortars. I was expecting to see people that could just rifle ball, And I looked around and I was thinking to myself, this is it. This is the Nationals? Oh my God, And I just thought to myself, this is going to be, obviously, it's not that I'm worried about now that I don't belong. I can compete with these people. I was just fine. And my first match, I played a guy, and he went up there, and I think he went gutter ball, then like right deuce, left 3-pin. And I remember looking over at, I think it was Brian Earl or whoever on my team. And I looked over and said, "Oh my God, if I lose to this fella." End of the match, it was 198 to about 195 or whatever. But he beat me. don't ever think it's going to be, So
Yeah.
I just remember thinking that when I said, I can't. Well, thank God I'm playing this fella. And yeah, he's 190, 195.
Probably sobered you up quick though. Get you back on the right track.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good old karma thing.
Yeah, she's always dressed and ready to go.
Yeah. So is there one last topic we want to talk about? Anybody got something good, or are we really reeling this podcast in?
You have any more stories, Lenny?
I've always got stories. It's just a matter of how many of them can be appropriate,
No censorship.
Actually, if you wanted to tell, you were saying before about what your a bowling thing, that there is one thing that I was proud of, and it was still a loss, but it was in Newfoundland. In my I was playing the Masters, singles, and started that first day. You play 7 matches, and I had 7 losses. And I started out the next day and lost my first 2. And I was playing in the gold medal match that year.
Wow.
Yeah.
0-9.
That's when Steve Greensides was, and I remember I was 0-7 and he was 7-0. And then I lost, and I remember then he was ended up being 10-0. And I just remember I looked over and I told Tracy, I said, I just need him to keep winning. As long as he keeps beating up the field, I'm not dead yet. And it was the type of thing where I think I ended up being, my record was like 11-10, something like that, but I ended up being, I don't even know if I was in a tie for 3rd or if I got 3rd by myself. But yeah, and I said, and then I probably, he had the better week. Obviously, he was bowling great, but I had a chance to beat him. I probably should have beat him. Like the first game, how the Masters, it's always just 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
The first game, he was done. I was up there, and I think I needed like 20 or 25 to beat him. Got a corner pin, didn't spare it. Jesus, get that one, get away. Okay, next game, I'm playing him, and it was coming down to the 10th frame, and I think I might have needed like 35, 38. I don't know what it was. It just threw 2 bombs, just boom, boom. The 3rd ball, it left my hand. I just threw it, left my hand. And as soon as I left my hand, I reached down, I pulled off my shoe, and I threw it away. I punched the 3-pin. I knew as soon as I left my hand, I was like, "Oh my God, you just did that," And yeah, so I ended up getting second. I was happy with second, but based on the way the week went. But I said I very easily could have won that. I just didn't. But he definitely deserved it. He was way better all week. He was, I think he was averaging 300 for the longest time. I don't know what he ended up averaging. And I remember that year, the only adjustment I made is, I don't know what it was, but and nothing was working. And I just said, what the heck, let's pretend you're throwing free fall. So I just started throwing my ball, and I said, pretend you're on a free fall rather than, and everything just started falling into place. And, that's the one thing. I struggle lots, but when I find it, I'm not one that usually worries about when I found it, I'm going to lose it. When I find it, I'm like, yeah, you got this now, and now you can go and keep going type of thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have a question from the audience here. Sean, we're going to answer the first part of your question because we already answered the second part of your question, or at least Lenny did. But the first part of the question is, if you could pick one player to throw a strike for $1 million and it can't be you, who would you pick?
Probably the one person that I would pick, and that's, when they were throwing their ball in their prime, for me, it would have been a Mark Swatsky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his ball just had so much turn on it that it was not going to be, if he got it there, it was going to go. Like he had a lot of rotation on that ball.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go around the horn on this one. Dexter, who would you pick? And this would be at their prime, obviously.
I mean, it's way too easy of an answer, but it's impossible for me not to say Bruce. Played with him lots and watched him do it lots.
Yeah, like on the same question, if it was a one match thing, and you said who did you want to have that one match, the person I would pick would be Mark Jackson.
Right.
If it was a one game and it was a match, I trust him for that game because, like I said, he just would find a way to make it work. But
Yeah, Timmy.
I'm torn. I would say I'd probably would say Adam right now. I would say Adam. I would probably put Adam in there. Yeah. I haven't seen Gino in his prime. I've seen old Gino. I know he's watching old Gino. But if Gino was pissed off in a heartbeat, I would pick Gino if he was pissed off in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Angry Gino's tough to beat for sure.
Yeah. So Gino, you suck. So and you're not good anymore. So
I don't know if I pick Gino for one ball to need a strike, just because when Gino beats people, he just usually beats them up. That he doesn't need that. He never comes down to that last ball for Gino.
No.
He has you done long before it ever comes to that last ball.
Adam.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. There's two people that come to mind. One that I didn't see throw that ball enough was Doug McCaw. But I know Dougie in that particular moment, especially big dollar moment, was always money. Right now, it might be Brad Mullins.
No,
I think I throw Brad at the top of that list. He easily could be Gino, but for the same reason Lenny was saying, yeah, it's usually over or he's not very good that match. So I say Brad Mullins.
I think just going through all the provincials at the Open, so obviously this is going to be biased because there's lots of players across the country that probably are going to throw that strike. But mine would be between Adam and Schultz. I've never seen more people anchor a team and bang out 10 when the team needed it.
It's true, and I've been on those teams, right?
Same.
I like I said, I have never had to play anchor or never been there because those two always played anchor for us, right? So
Maddie's a good pick, Carey.
He's a very good pick.
I've going on that same thing because this is going to go off of a team that never won, but I've always said I only got to play with him 2 or 3 times, and it's not like he's won a lot of singles events or anything like that. But for throwing a ball in the like if I'm playing on a team and I got my choice of everybody, the guy that I want throwing anchor for me is Brad Holefield. I really enjoy playing with Brad Holefield, and I like when he's throwing anchor, I want to be throwing fourth. I just it's like I just want to set this up so he has a chance, because if he has a chance, he's going to bring it home. And he did it so many times for us. He's very clutch.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. Lucky enough to play with Holefield through the last couple of years of my YBC career, and then few times early in the adult ranks. Do you know if he's going to be coming back and playing, Lenny, or is he kind of hung up his shoes?
I don't think he's hung up his shoes, but I just think it's that whole thing when you start getting a young family, it's just other priorities. I'm sure he's going to come back. I just don't know when.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I usually try and give him a phone call or a text every year to see if he's going to come back and play the Open this year or whatever. But obviously haven't seen him out for the last 2 or 3 years, but I'm hoping he comes back. But he's a great shooter when it comes to and I really don't care. I don't care if he's got 170 for that game. It's just that when it comes down to needing to finish that 10th frame, he does.
Yeah.
That's why I said when I was playing him, it was just enjoyable. It doesn't make all I had to do was set it up so he has a chance. That's all I kept on saying. Just give it a chance.
That's awesome.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a good spot to wrap this up. So Lenny, you're more than welcome to stay on for a few minutes after and shoot the crap or whatever you want to do. I just want to thank you for joining us. This is the 66th podcast. I still can't believe we have over 50 people watching every week.
I can't believe we didn't wait like another 3 episodes for Lenny.
Oh, that would have been perfect. we really missed that one. All right. Thanks again, Len.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you,
Lenny. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's fun.